Hey everybody on YouTube, this is Kyle Snyder aka Clipton once again doing another YouTube video. This time I'm going to do something different. This time I'm going to do a top 10 list. And my top 10 list has to do with video games that need to be made. As you may have seen ScrewAttack's top 10 video games that need to be made, I have decided to do my own and express my feelings as to what games really need to be made, because I feel that these games would be so awesome to play. That being said, here's my top 10 list, starting first off at number 10, which is a Bleach RPG. For those of you who are familiar with the anime Bleach, you know what I'm talking about. There are tons of Bleach characters with different abilities, tons of enemies. The possibility of an RPG for the Bleach series is very well possible. I could very well see it happen. It just depends on what story would be told in this RPG. Number 9 would have to be Crashing the Boys 2. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Crashing the Boys, watch Mr. Zero's review of Crashing the Boys. It's an awesome game. It's available now for Virtual Console, and I could imagine if there were a Crashing the Boys 2 game, and with all the different sports they'd include, such as a frisbee golf game with a twist or something else, I don't know, but it would be awesome to see another Crashing the Boys game. Number 8, another San Francisco Rush game. San Francisco Rush, it was an over-the-top racing series. It had amazing, how should I put it? An amazing concept of a racing game. It did things over the top. You'd go hit ramps, you'd go on rooftops. There were abundance of shortcuts in every single track. There needs to be another San Francisco Rush game. I'd definitely play it. Let's see, number 7, Final Fantasy VI DS. A DS version of Final Fantasy VI. For those of you who have seen the DS version of Final Fantasy IV, they did it in 3D. They had voice actors. The battle system was completely unchanged. The only things that they improved on were the graphics. They did it in 3D. There were voice actors, and I felt Final Fantasy IV DS was an incredibly well done remake of the game. And I feel that they could do the same with Final Fantasy VI. That's what we need to see on the DS, definitely. Let's see, number 6, WWE Day of Reckoning 3. As much of a fan as I am with the SmackDown vs. Raw series, SVR 2006 being my absolute favorite SmackDown vs. Raw game, I'm more than sure that there are a lot of wrestling fans who would love to see the Day of Reckoning series come back. I mean, there were things you could do in the Day of Reckoning games that you couldn't do in other wrestling games, such as being able to interrupt people's moves, specifically their finishers. When you did a superplex onto someone and it hit the others in a triple threat or a fatal four-way match, they would get hit as well. Well, and it had some over-the-top things with hardcore matches. I feel they need to bring the Day of Reckoning series back. After all, a lot of CAW leagues still go with the Day of Reckoning series, such as Dream Match Wrestling, CXWI, Events of an Alternate Reality, and a few other CAW leagues. Definitely bring back the Day of Reckoning series with DOR 3. Let's see, number 5, another Double Dragon game, and I don't mean one like the Double Dragon 5, which was a fighter game. I'm talking about the side-scroller beat-em-up games. But make it like Double Dragon 1 or Double Dragon 2. In my opinion, those two were the absolute best Double Dragon games. Double Dragon 1 because it stuck to the basics, and Double Dragon 2, well, it built on to Double Dragon 1, but had tons of improvements. Double Dragon 3, it was an incredibly hard game. Double Dragons 1 and 2 were perfect. If there's going to be another Double Dragon game, then make it out of Double Dragon 1 or Double Dragon 2. Those two games were the absolute best, and you need to model the next Double Dragon game after those. Let's see, number 4. it's not a specific game that they need to make, but more 2D RPGs. Games like the Lufia series, the old Final Fantasy games. It's just RPGs that aren't 3D, and also RPGs that are turn-based. I'm pretty much a nostalgic fan myself, and I'd love to see 2D RPGs make a comeback. I'd definitely play more of them if they were, if the developers would make them again. I am a true nostalgic fan. I love 2D RPGs. Let's see. Number 3, another Phantasy Star Online game. And I don't mean Phantasy Star Universe. That game was not... It didn't stay true to the Phantasy Star series. In my opinion, the Phantasy Star Online games, the ones for the Dreamcast and the GameCube, those were the Phantasy Star Online games that I am talking about. Those RPGs, those MMORPGs were really good. I would like to see the servers make a comeback, because I know that a lot of people would love to see another Phantasy Star Online game for the Nintendo Wii, so that way they could play online once again, because obviously the Nintendo Wii does not recognize the technology, the internet connection. Well, PSO for the GameCube does not recognize Wii technology, so it's impossible to go online with the new fan-based servers, so obviously there needs to be another Phantasy Star Online game. Number 2, The World. For those of you who are familiar with the .hack series, you know what I'm talking about. There needs to be a real MMORPG of The World to come out here in America, and I don't mean .hack Fragment. That never came out in America. We here in America were cheated out of having the opportunity to experience a true MMORPG of The World. They need to do another one. Regardless of whether it's the R1 or R2 versions, I don't care. I want to see The World make it here in America. Because I've been playing the GU series lately, and I feel that it is indeed better than the previous 4.hack games, Infection, Mutation, Outbreak, and Quarantines. But anyways, on to my number 1 pick. And for those of you who have seen my latest AMV, you know what it's going to be. One of the games for the DS for this series recently came out. The game I'm talking about is Kingdom Hearts 3. It's obvious that there is going to be a Kingdom Hearts 3 because the ending of Kingdom Hearts 2 is a teaser that there is going to be a Kingdom Hearts 3. Now I know that they're currently working on Birth by Sleep and Final Fantasy 13 Versus, so makers of Square Enix, if you're watching this, after you're done with making those games, make sure your next project is Kingdom Hearts 3. Because a lot of fans would definitely buy this game. Definitely. I mean, I would pre-order it. I would get it the minute it comes out. Kingdom Hearts 3 needs to come out. Or it needs to be made. Anyways, that's my top 10 list of the video games that need to be made. What's your list?